How you doing? This is Carl Baines, and this call in particular is for 100 leaders that I wanted to get together, and this call is simply called Reflections 2020. This call is basically going to talk about a couple of things that's going to allow us to build upon the communities that we're in locally, statewide, and thus nationally. All right, but before we do that, I want to go ahead and get started to tell you who I am and what I'm about and why I'm so passionate about this call and talking about Reflections 2020. So, like I said, I'm Carl Baines, and 8 years ago, literally 8 years ago, well, no, I'm sorry, 12 years. 12 years ago, I started up the Paradigm Effect. And basically, the Paradigm Effect is basically allowing people to transform their thinking, their financially, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And so through the courses of years, I've been able not only to impact my own life, but also impact the lives of others. And so by coaching, by teaching, by training, we were able to change people's lives throughout those course of those 12 years. And so as time progressed, I've often come to find out there are a lot of individuals that were financially able to receive my services in order for me to render the services to them. But unfortunately, there was this vast majority of group of people that was not able to get those services. And those are the individuals that really needed it in order to propel them to allow them to go to the next step in life. And so this year, before all these nuances and all these pandemics happened, we started up with a nonprofit called the Paradigm Institute. And the Paradigm Institute is basically incorporating what I did with the Paradigm Effect, but putting action, right? That's when rubber meets the road. And I think that's what's key with what we're trying to do today, right? The reason why I call this call Reflections 2020, because it's time for us to look in the mirror. One thing that I often say is be great, reflect, transform, and repeat. And oftentimes in life, we're doing so many things, having so many, nuances to things happening right now. We're having a couple of things that we're going to talk about in a little bit, real quick, that's happening that we really need to shine a light on and that we need to be mindful of, because if we don't shine a light on these issues and these tasks at hand that we need to uphold and keep moving forward and acknowledge, then in turn, it's going to allow us to not be successful in this time. So that was just me just acknowledging who I am and who we are. And so we're going to go to the next thing, which is our mission, our vision. And this is just basically this, allowing us to come together to help people transform their thinking in order to transform their life in all aspects of life. And once we're able to do that, then we're able to send those individuals out through training, through coaching, through various understandings of what variations of life can bring to you. And thus you'll be prepared in order to get you out there and get you moving forward. There are so many things and so many categories we can go into, but I'm not going to take this time to talk about that in particular. We're going to be talking about more in what we can do as a whole. And that's the whole meaning, the whole reason why I have you on this call today. So let me tell you what this is not, okay? This is not promotion of my nonprofit. This is not a promotion of my business. This is not a promotion of other people and their businesses and allowing them to immediately reap some type of income. This isn't a promotion coming to you by in a company, right? This is really not about that. This is really about what's going on right now and what we can do from a local, from a state, and from a national standpoint. And so we're going to go to the next thing, which is the reason why you're here. And the reason why you're here and the reason why I brought you individuals on this call was for three things that are going on right now. We have the the COVID-19 pandemic, right? We have the issue that our country is going through a virus that's being distributed out from individual to individual. We also are, byproduct of that is having also a economic pandemic that we got to be mindful of, and we're seeing this transaction. And the lastly, if not primary, is the African Americans that are being killed senselessly in these United States of America. And so we need to acknowledge those things that are going on, primarily the Africans in America epidemic that's happening, or pandemic that's happening, which is individuals are dying at an alarming rate when they shouldn't have to, or they shouldn't come in that form. And so that's the reason why I wanted to really get you guys on this call, because I know that you are the 100 individuals, the 100 leaders that are willing to say, not only do I want to be informed and be empowered, but I'm going to be the one to inform and to empower. So let me tell you the old way of how we normally do things, right? Regardless if it's the health pandemic, the economic pandemic, or the Africans in America, pandemic, right? We often march, right? We often speak our truth, right? We often use whatever platform that we have to go out and to speak upon those things that are happening that's among us and around us. And so those things worked in this time. Those things are still working in this time. And so now I feel like it's time for us to switch gears, not to stop doing those things, marching and making, holding people accountable and changing legislative and voting and all that things. But now we're shifting into something that's a little bit different when it comes to these three things that I just shared with you. And with those three things, it's allowing us to understand, and guess what? We have to now turn this not only from a local, state, and national issue, but this is now also a self-sustainability issue. And so now this is the reason why I'm really honing in and segueing you into what it is that I wanted you guys to be on this call for. And it's time, personally and collectively, for us to go ahead and make ourselves self-sustainable. Here's what I learned to be true. I learned to be true that at the end of the day, I cannot rely on anyone outside of me, anyone, right? Outside of me, whether that's local, state, or federal government, to take care of me in the way that I need to be taken care of. Let me explain. So many moons ago, I was overweight and I needed to lose weight, and it was a health issue because I was overweight. Now, I could have easily said that, okay, the reason why that I'm overweight is because of all these things that I perceived to be true, and they were not. And so then I made a effective decision in 2008 to make a change, and thus that change catapulted me to make to have changes within my life for the rest of my life. And so I come to you guys to say this: it's time for us to collectively come together as leaders and go ahead and make ourselves self-sustainable. Carl, what does all of that mean? I'm glad you're thinking it. All right. So basically what that means is for us to come together and use everyone's resources that are willing to be a part of the cause. And so I say that to say, giving an example. So if someone says, you know what, I need health, right? I need help with my health because it's not working, it's not allowing me. I want to be self-sustainable outside of the traditional way. Or guess what? If it's going to be the traditional way, I want to be healed versus treated, okay? So let's just say I have several people that are on this call or that is listening to this call that are part of the health industry, both Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy, both holistic and both Western medicine. And so if we could collectively come together and do several master classes, which we're going to segue into soon, to allow that person to get what they need from a health perspective, then we can move forward. Okay, Carl, what does it mean when it comes to legacy? What does it mean to have ownership? Well, I have several entrepreneurs on this call that are willing to take time out of their schedule, 30 to 45 minutes, to either record themselves or come together with me, and we do a sit down of 30 to 45 minutes, record that, and submit it out to those individuals that need that, right? And so that's what I'm going into, which is the pitch, right? Point blank and simple. The goal and the task of this is to work with you 100 leaders, you 100 individuals that have not only have influence, but also are doing things in your local, state, and federal government area. I have people on this call that deal with policies and procedures. I have lawyers, I have doctors, I have people that work on Broadway and have Tonys. I have people from Florida all the way to California. I have people that or multifaceted races that are going to be not only on this call, but listening to this call. And so the goal and task at hand is that we're collectively coming together to go ahead and help those that need the help. Now, remind you, this isn't a hand, this is a handout. I want to make sure that I'm clear. This is for those who want help and are willing to do the work to receive the help, right? The one thing that we do with TPI is we believe in helping you, but we also understand that it comes with the time that you are willing to want to do the help and do the work for yourselves. And so I say all that to say, you, the 100 leaders that are on this call, and those individuals that are listening to this call, are going to be the master class for those individuals, right? Those individuals saying, look, I'm looking for help. I'm seeking for help. I'm desiring the help that it is that you're wanting to give out. And so thus we're giving that help to that person. Case in point, hey, I want to know what it means to invest. I have some people that invest. Carl, I want to understand what it means to be spiritually inclined. We got people that are holistic and people that believe in meditating and the power from within, and believe in Confucius and God and Jesus and Muslims. And we have all these group of people that are collected together, and we are going to get together and hone in on what it is that they do particularly. And so I have people on here that are, like I said, policies and procedures. What do we need to know when it comes to the cops and the interactions, and how to remove it from being a sense of fear to a sense of understanding and power? What does it mean to have something directly connected to this community, to whereas when this person goes into the academy, that the people of the community have some type of influential process or influential stake in that person get in the academy before they get into the system, in which allows us to actually be a part of. So guess what? If I know Joe Doe, and Joe Doe was a part of the academy in which I was a part of him being enlisted in. Thus, when Joe comes to my community, then I would be comfortable with Joe, because guess what? I know Joe from the process of connecting him and part of the academy. And so not only that, we need to do a vast of settings and opportunities and collective states when it comes to that, to allow us to be a part of the process. Because here's the one thing I know to be true, and it's about the COVID pandemic. It's about the Africans in America that are being rapidly killed, through this process of policing and the economic status. If we're not informed, we're not empowered. If we're not informed on knowing what's going on, then how can we fix the issue? How can we resolve the issue? How can we move forward to allow ourselves to grow within these issues? How we have people on here that are radio, that are media, that are social media coaches, that people that are going to help women in fibroids, right? There are several communities that are having issues with fibroids, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's called POS. Help me out, ladies, if I'm wrong, right? I don't mind being, corrected. And so again, there's a community. What it means to holistically heal yourself, what it means to use Western medicine to get to a point to where you're able to heal yourself, what it means to communicate in these United States of America, what it means to have assets, liabilities, what does it mean to farm, what does it mean to actually have your own produce, right? From a at your windowsill all the way into multi acres and multi forms of farming. And what does that mean? The goal with this is to allow people to be informed. To be empowered is to be informed. And what I know to be true is simple as this. Once you can't tell me that you don't know. And so with that being said, I individually talk to you leaders and you people that are listening to the call right now. And you guys told me that, hey, I'm willing to answer the call to build a community to allow us to reflect on ourselves, to allow us to grow and to build, right? And so with that being the case, my pitch is simply this. Let's start these master classes that we can make available to the individuals. Now, Carl, how do we do that? What does that look like? I'm glad you're thinking that. My goal and hope is to share this under the Paradigm Institute's website and Facebook page. So what we're doing is this. Everybody's not going to be a part of this page because we know that everybody isn't going to be on this wave or are willing to be a part of the wave, right? There's some people that want to adhere to the information. There's some people that want to adhere to the information and they make a decision that they don't want to do it. And then there's individuals that adhere to it, want to do it, and they move with action. And so that's what we're doing today. So with that being said, what I want everybody to do that's on this call, I want everybody to contact me at info@tpionline.org. Again, that's info@tpionline.org. If you don't have a pen and paper, don't worry about it. I'll send this information out and I'll give you a notice on that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be doing master classes with everybody that's on this call, because we know that, guess what? Look how compounded interest works, right? So we have 100 people or more listening on this call. If everybody specializes in something that someone needs to adhere to, look at 100 people can learn can learn from the information that you guys are going to be sharing with, at minimum. So one person clicks on the link that you're going to be talking about to help and inform somebody. That's at least 100 people, right? Let's just say we do 10 times 100. That's 1,000 people. They get the message. What if there's 100 people, right? Then there's what, 10,000 people, right? What if there's 1,000 people? Then that's 100,000 people. Then, guys, you get the gist of what I'm saying. And so that's all we're talking about, is the power of compounding when it comes to growth, when it comes to making things happen. And so, again, I don't want to go deep into this. I don't want to bore you. But the goal is, in turn, to allow individuals to, instead of us talking and hoping and seeing what's going to transpire, in my Ebonic way of saying it, I'm about that action. And that action being taking action in order to make things happen. And so with that being said, I don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know time is the one thing that we can't get back. And so with that being said, if you have any questions, we have roughly 6 minutes to answer any questions. Let's go ahead and ask any questions right now. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the chat. And if there aren't any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go ahead and kind of go ahead and, you know, close it out. Again, this is something that we're going to be doing ongoing. So it's not going to be a period of time. And guess what? I know that you're busy. I know that you have family. I know that you are a person that have your own entity, your own nonprofits. Guess what? I'm willing to partner with you. I want to partner up with you, because guess what? The same way that you're going to be doing things with me, the same way I want to be doing things with you. And for me, I want to do it under, of course, the tutelage of my nonprofit, so that it can be free of charge. Okay, so one question posed a question, which is, what time are we looking? What type of time line are we looking? So no time like today, right? So it can begin today. The question is your availability. And so it's basically the individual coming to me and saying, hey, Carl, I want to do a masterclass regarding this issue or this task or this particular thing that I want to kind of share. And so we're going to have a multitude of different things coming our way. And so it's up to you. My goal is, the sooner you get with me, the sooner we connect. Again, I'm going to be a little bit of a bugaboo. And I'm going to chime into each individual and I'm going to say, hey, when are you available? When is your schedule? How does your schedule look? And I need 30 minutes to 45 minutes of your time. If it's on a lunch break, if it's that time where you put the kids down, or the time where you would normally watch a movie or do something or reflect. Let's reflect together, and let's go ahead and push out that thing that I know that you're great at, so that information can be available for the individuals that are going to be a part of these master classes. So the timeline is now. There's no point in waiting. If you have the information, if you know people that have the information, I will love to talk to those individuals as well, so that we can go ahead and get started. Anyone else? One question that I know that someone is going to ask me is that, okay, this is great information. This is good for for information for people to know. But Carl, how is this going to impact those pandemics that are happening now? And I'm glad you said that, or you're thinking that. And here's the thing: what I know to be true is to be informed is to be empowered. And so I'm going to contact policemen. I'm going to contact my local, state, and federal officials. And I'm going to pose the question of, as a tax-paying citizen, what can we do to stop this senseless killing, right? This overly policing, right? Or what can we do to make sure that he is there? What can we do to just stop the killing, primarily? What can we do, COVID-19? What can we do to help ourselves, primarily? I have another person that just asked the question. Oh, good. They just said that they're going to have more insight, which is awesome. But right now, all the information that you know, just think for a second. If someone else knew that information, or had an inkling of the availability or the information that you have that has allowed you to do well or propel or be great on who you are, then what if they had that information and you give them that tidbits or those nuggets that allowed you to be who you are and allowed you to be successful? How can we do that? So guys, we're getting closer to the end. I'm going to be working with multiple nonprofits, multiple businesses that hone in on what it is that we're talking about tonight. And again, if you don't understand anything I just said, understand this. It's time out for us to sit back and wait for someone to help. And it's time for us to be self-sustainable, to allow us to live in these United States of America through the economic, through the COVID, and through which should not be a conversation, but we have to have a conversation about it. Africans in America being killed. And so with that being said, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate your time. If you have questions or anything, do not hesitate to contact me directly. I love you guys. Be blessed and take care.